Something strange is happening to people in their 30s and 40s right now, and most of them have no idea why. They look in the mirror and they see fine lines that shouldn't be there yet. They feel tired even after 8 hours of sleep. Their skin looks dull, their energy is gone, and their joints ache like they belong to someone 20 years older. And the scary part? It's not genetics. It's not bad luck. It's something they are doing every single day without even realizing it. Doctors have started calling it accelerated aging. And the most disturbing part of all of this is that the habits causing it feel completely normal. They feel harmless. Some of them even feel healthy. By the end of this video, you are going to recognize at least 3 of these habits in your own daily routine. And once you see them, you will never look at your morning coffee, your phone, or your bedtime the same way again. So stay with me until the end, because habit number 5 is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the biggest one of all. Before we go further, if you're someone who cares about staying youthful, healthy, and full of energy for as long as possible, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this, and trust me, you're going to want to come back for more videos like this one. Let's start with something that feels completely innocent: sitting. You probably don't think twice about it. You sit while you eat breakfast, you sit during your commute, you sit at your desk for 8 or 9 hours, and then you sit again on the couch to relax in the evening. It feels like rest. It feels like recovery. But here's what's actually happening inside your body while you sit for long stretches of time. Your blood flow slows down. Your muscles, especially in your legs and lower back, begin to weaken. Your metabolism drops. And over months and years, this constant stillness starts to affect your joints, your posture, and even the elasticity of your skin, because good circulation is what keeps your skin nourished and glowing. Doctors have started referring to prolonged sitting as one of the most underestimated causes of early physical decline, right up there with smoking in terms of long-term impact on the body. You might be sitting right now as you watch this. And that's okay. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Because once you understand what's happening, you can start making small changes, and small changes compound into massive results over time. Now let's talk about something you might be holding in your hand right now: your phone. Specifically, the way you use it late at night. You already know the advice: put the phone away before bed, but nobody really explains why it matters so much for aging. Here's the truth. The blue light from your screen doesn't just keep you awake, it actually suppresses melatonin, which is the hormone your body needs to repair itself overnight. And skin repair, cell regeneration, and even memory consolidation all happen most efficiently during deep sleep. When you scroll for an extra hour before bed, you're not just losing sleep, you're robbing your body of its nightly repair window. Over time, this shows up as puffiness under your eyes, dull skin, brain fog, and a body that just doesn't bounce back the way it used to. You might have experienced this yourself, waking up after a late night of scrolling and feeling like you aged 5 years overnight. That feeling is real, and it's your body telling you something important. Here's something Dr. Fazal has emphasized again and again when discussing long-term wellness with patients. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's basically free anti-aging medicine, and most people are skipping their dose every single night without even realizing the cost. Now let's move to something that might surprise you, because it's often marketed as healthy: constant snacking, especially on foods marketed as light or diet-friendly. Here's the problem nobody talks about. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises and your body releases insulin to bring it back down. If you're snacking constantly throughout the day, your blood sugar is spiking and crashing over and over again, sometimes 10 or 15 times a day. This constant spiking has a name in medical research. It's called glycation, and it's one of the most damaging processes for your skin and your organs. Glycation happens when excess sugar in your bloodstream attaches to proteins like collagen and elastin, the very proteins that keep your skin firm and youthful. When collagen gets damaged this way, it becomes stiff and broken down, and that's what leads to sagging skin, wrinkles, and a tired, aged appearance, even in people who are eating what they think is a healthy diet. You might be someone who reaches for a granola bar or a flavored yogurt between meals thinking you're doing something good for your body. And in some ways you might be, but if it's happening constantly without any real gaps in between, your blood sugar never gets a chance to rest, and neither does your skin. Let's pause here for a second, because I want you to really sit with this next part. Stress. Not the dramatic, obvious kind of stress, but the quiet, chronic kind. The kind you've gotten so used to that you don't even notice it anymore. The tight shoulders, the clenched jaw, the racing thoughts before bed. This kind of stress keeps a hormone called cortisol elevated in your body for long periods of time, and chronically high cortisol is one of the most well-documented accelerators of aging in modern medical research. It breaks down collagen, it disrupts sleep, it increases inflammation throughout your entire body. And here's the part that really gets people. It doesn't just affect how you look, it affects how your cells function at a fundamental level. Scientists have actually studied something called telomeres, which are like the protective caps on the ends of your DNA strands, similar to the plastic tips on shoelaces. Chronic stress has been shown to shorten these telomeres faster than normal, and shorter telomeres are directly linked to faster biological aging. Let that sink in for a moment. The stress you're carrying around from your job, your relationships, or just the constant pressure of daily life might be aging you at a cellular level years before it shows up on your face. But here's the good news, and this is important. Your body is incredibly resilient, and it responds quickly to positive changes. Even small shifts, like 10 minutes of quiet breathing, a short walk outside, or simply putting your phone down and being present for a few minutes, can start to lower cortisol and give your body room to repair itself. This isn't about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about small, consistent choices. Now, before we go into the next few habits, which honestly might be the most surprising ones on this list, I want to ask you something. If you've made it this far, drop a comment below and tell me which habit you just recognized in your own life. I read every single comment, and I promise you are not alone in this. Almost everyone watching right now has at least one of these habits, and just admitting it is the first step toward changing it. Let's talk about something that feels almost impossible to avoid in modern life: dehydration. Not the dramatic kind where you feel dizzy and desperate for water, but the mild, chronic kind that most people walk around with every single day without realizing it. Studies suggest a huge percentage of adults are walking around mildly dehydrated most of the time, and here's why that matters so much for aging. Your skin is made up of a large percentage of water, and when your body doesn't have enough, it starts pulling moisture away from less critical areas like your skin to protect your vital organs first. Your skin is essentially the last priority when your body is rationing water. This is why chronic mild dehydration shows up as fine lines, dullness, and skin that just doesn't have that healthy bounce to it anymore. And it's not just about drinking more water, though, that helps. It's about consistency throughout the day, rather than one big glass in the morning and then forgetting about it until you feel thirsty later. Now, here's a habit that might genuinely shock you, because it's something almost everyone does and almost nobody questions: sleeping on your side or your stomach night after night for years. This might sound like a small detail, but dermatologists have actually documented something called sleep wrinkles, which form from the repeated pressure and friction of your face pressing into a pillow in the same position night after night for years on end. Over time, this repeated compression can actually create permanent lines, especially around the cheeks and forehead, in the exact spots where your face meets the pillow most often. It sounds almost unbelievable that something as simple as your sleeping position could leave a lasting mark, but when you think about it, that's thousands of hours of pressure applied to the same spots on your skin year after year. You don't need to completely change how you sleep overnight, but simply becoming aware of it and maybe shifting towards sleeping on your back more often can make a real difference over time. Let's talk about one more habit, and this one might be the most emotional part of this video because it's less about physical action and more about mindset: negative self-talk. The way you speak to yourself in your own head, especially about your appearance, your age, or your worth. This might sound like it belongs in a completely different conversation, unrelated to physical aging, but here's what modern research is actually showing us. Chronic negative self-talk keeps your nervous system in a low-grade state of stress, the same kind of stress we talked about earlier with cortisol. When you constantly criticize yourself, worry about aging, or speak harshly to yourself internally, your body responds as if it's under threat, even though there's no actual danger present. And that constant internal stress response contributes to the same inflammation and hormonal imbalances that physically accelerate aging. In other words, the way you think about yourself isn't just an emotional issue, it's a physical one too. Your body is listening to every thought you have about yourself, and it responds accordingly. This is something Dr. Fazal has spoken about as being just as important as diet or exercise when it comes to long-term health. The emotional environment you create inside your own mind matters just as much as what you put into your body. So let's bring this all together because I know that's a lot of information, and I want you to walk away from this video feeling empowered, not overwhelmed. The habits we talked about today, sitting for long periods without movement, late night screen time disrupting your sleep, constant snacking that spikes your blood sugar, chronic unmanaged stress, mild daily dehydration, repetitive sleep positions, and harsh self-talk. None of these are dramatic or extreme. That's exactly why they're so dangerous. They hide in plain sight, disguised as normal, everyday life. But now that you can see them clearly, you have something incredibly powerful: awareness. And awareness is always the first step toward real change. You don't need to fix everything at once. Pick just one habit from this video, the one that felt the most familiar to you, and focus on that this week. Drink a little more water throughout the day. Put your phone down 30 minutes earlier tonight. Take a short walk between long periods of sitting. Speak to yourself with a little more kindness. Small, consistent choices like these are what actually add up to real transformation over months and years, far more than any dramatic overnight change ever could. If this video opened your eyes to something you didn't realize before, please take a moment to share it with someone you care about, a parent, a sibling, a friend who's always exhausted and doesn't know why. You might genuinely be helping them feel younger, more energized, and more like themselves again. And before you go, drop a comment and let me know, which one of these habits are you going to change first? I'll be reading through the comments, and I would genuinely love to hear from you. Take care of yourself, because the way you treat your body today is the story your body will tell you tomorrow. I'll see you in the next video.